Hello everybody, it's Slushy, and today I'm going to be reviewing Paranormal Activity 1. Okay, so I've wanted to do this video for a long time. Years ago, I planned this series of reviewing all the Paranormal Activity films, and I kind of went by the wayside because I got busy with other stuff, and then I bought a gaming computer, and that kind of took away a lot of my time, and I started focusing more on gaming than reviews or films or any of that other stuff. So I kind of want to get back into doing a mix of everything, reviews, films, games, live streams, all that stuff. I want to do it all again. I had a lot of fun with mixing in different types of content, so I want to get back to that. So you might see a kind of a binge or a span of certain kind of videos as I kind of get back into the mix of doing all kinds of different things. Like I already have several films in the planning phase. Obviously, a bunch of gaming videos coming out. I have so many gaming videos I filmed months ago that haven't even come out yet, just because I'm always like thinking about the next idea. And I always kind of like when I come home from work, I have to sit here and I'm like, which video am I going to put out today? Is it going to be a gaming video, or is it going to be one of these reviews that I filmed 2 years ago that I've yet to release, and I look completely different in them. So just yesterday, I decided I'm just going to delete those, and I'm going to try to do something different. And so one of those videos that I did delete was my first review on Paranormal Activity, actually, which is why I'm here doing this right now, because it kind of was fresh in my mind. So I wanted to review the first Paranormal Activity movie from 2007. So just jumping right into it, I've always loved the Paranormal Activity films. I know that's controversial because found footage is kind of frowned upon in the horror movie scene. Like I feel like if you're a big horror aficionado, like when you look at found footage, you're like, ew, gross, get the hell away from me. I've always been like, give it all to me. I want to digest as many types of horror as I possibly can. I don't want to just, watch just slashers or, just psychological thrillers. I want to watch everything. Give me everything. I want a little bit of both. Give me a little bit of all those different types of things. I have a big palette when it comes to horror. I want a little bit of all of it. Not at the same time. Like I think a film, if a film tried to do all those subgenres at once, it would be a freaking mess. But Paranormal Activity is a great found footage film. The first film was so simple, it couldn't possibly be bad. I mean, they didn't try to throw any crazy ideology into it. It was a simple film, two people in a house. The house is haunted. This lady, Katie, she may or may not be possessed by something, or maybe she has something attached to her because of her childhood, and they kind of don't go super far into it, so it kind of leaves you on the edge of your seat wondering what the heck's happening. And that was so well done. And I believe Oren Peli, the director, filmed this in his house. I've heard some kind of theory where it was his house or his rental house or something like that. And if that's the case, that is crazy. That's crazy interesting. That's a crazy bit of film trivia. Um, and if that is the case, he has a very nice house. Oren Peli, if you're watching this by some impossible stretch of the way, because no way in hell would you find my video of all videos, a review on the film like some 20 years later. Yeah, right. Uh, you have a nice house, or you did have a nice house. I'm sure you bought a much bigger house after this film became a massive freaking success, of which I think it only cost like $10,000 or $20,000, or maybe a little bit more than that, and you made like what, $150 million from this film alone. And I believe all the other films in the series made at least $100 million, which, dude, that's freaking impressive. No matter if you like the films or not, like they literally just grabbed a camera and filmed this shit. They didn't have a deep planning phase for this. There was no script. It was just, hey, ad lib a bunch of shit, grab a camera and go at it, kind of like how Blair Witch was. They didn't have an outline for it. They just said, here's a camera, go out in the woods, figure it out. And I believe, as far as I remember, I believe that's all they did with Paranormal Activity. I might be wrong. Maybe they had a rough outline where they're like, here, this is what's going to happen here, blah da da da. I know the later films were definitely scripted and planned out and everything. I just can't remember if the first one was or not. From what I remember hearing from a video, like a not analyzing Paranormal Activity, it was the fact that they had a very rough outline and that was about it. And if that's the case, the actors in here are very impressive, because it's not easy to just brainstorm shit off the fly. That's why I give Blair Witch a lot of credit, because it's not easy to just grab a camera and film shit, because you still have to act like a regular person. You can't be just hooting and hollering and not making any goddamn sense. It has to make sense for the film. Like they're freaking out in that movie made sense for the film. Like I feel like if Katie just started screaming for absolutely no reason in this film and running through the house with the fucking camera, you're gonna want to punch her in the face, because something's clearly wrong with her and it wouldn't have made any goddamn sense. But for this movie, it's just a simple house haunting. That's literally all it is. And I don't see what there is to hate about it. Personally, I don't. Like I said, it's as simple as it gets. Two people in a house. There's a spirit in the house that's coming after them. Boom. There's your film. Creepy shit gradually happens night by night. That's the way to do it. You know, it's like playing a horror game. That's the same kind of way that a lot of psychological horror games go. It's like not everything happens at once. Sometimes it takes a while for the scary shit to start to happen. It's like whenever you least expect it, that's when the scary shit will come in. You know, maybe you'll be sitting there for 3 nights, nothing really happens. Maybe the pool cleaner comes out of the pool and that's about it. That's all you get for 2 nights. Then the third night, all of a sudden there's a shadow at the doorway, or maybe the door slams, or maybe you're getting dragged out of the bed. Maybe you wake up with a knife standing over your husband. You know, like it's just that's what makes these films so creepy is the level of unpredictability. You don't know what's going to happen next. You're almost in for the journey, like as if you're like watching the security feed. Like if you had, you know, you received the tapes in the mail and you're watching the security feed from this house. That's kind of the way that you feel when you're watching these movies. Like when you press play on a Paranormal Activity film, you're in the experience. You're not just watching a film, you're in the experience as if you just turned on someone's private security feed. And that is such a creepy concept, and that's why I believe Paranormal Activity works so well. Um, like I said, I don't have any complaints about the first movie. Like, there's nothing about it I would change. If I was a film director, I would literally probably make it exactly the same way. Keep it simple, keep it direct. Don't try to add too much to it. Just give it a simple little push. Boom. Look what it did. It changed the game. I mean, Paranormal Activity made a crap load of money. It terrified people. There's people who still talk about it. No matter what you say, I don't care who you are, there are several scenes in this movie that will make you jump. I don't care who you are. If you listen to this film on a respectable audio, you're going to jump. That is how it is. This whole series has at least one or two moments that are going to make you jump. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't care if you're Joe Cool. There's going to be a moment or two within this series where you're going to be like, oh shit. You know, I jumped countless times throughout this series. The first one even had a handful of jumps that got me. I believe there was two specifically. Like the one at the end, at least the ending that I've seen more commonly, really kind of got me just because I was just kind of sitting there. The first time I watched it, I was just sitting there like, okay, yeah. Whoa, fuck. You know, kind of, it just hits you so fast that you don't really have a chance to react to it. And you don't expect it when it happens. More specifically, I'm talking about the part where Micah gets flung at the camera. I wasn't fully paying attention when it happened. I was just kind of sitting there, like I said, like this, just nonchalant watching the movie. Because, you know, most of the movies, just you watching a flat screen while they're doing whatever they're doing. And nothing really crazy happens. Like, nothing like that. And all of a sudden you're watching, and then boom, someone gets flown at your face. And it's like, oh my God. And then she crawls, I believe she crawls at the camera and does like this demon roar scream thing, and that was really creepy. Apparently there was also a lot of like cut footage from several of the films in the series, which I'll talk about those later on, but it's very interesting that they would have cut stuff like that out. I don't even know if that stuff, if those claims are true. I believe it's kind of been on the fence of people believing there's footage out there, people believe there's not, but it would definitely make this film interesting if those claims were true. But it would also be like, why did they cut that? But yeah, like I enjoyed the hell out of this film. Paranormal Activity is a classic. I'll put it in unashamedly, like with a big smile on my face. And to me, I don't know why this is, but it's like when people hate something, it makes me enjoy it more. Like when I know I'm watching something that everyone loves to hate, I'm like, I actually feel good watching it. I'm like, you know, the whole world's out here like, Paranormal Activity's dog shit. And then I'm sitting here with the biggest smirk on my face while I watch a girl get dragged out of the bed by some demonic force. You know, that's a weird thing to mention, but yeah, you know, I don't know what it is about that. Like the new Return to Silent Hill, that movie got shat on so bad. And it's like I didn't watch the full movie, so I can't give a full critique on that yet. But I watched like 45 minutes of it. I'm like, yeah, it's not the best film ever made. That's obvious. Yeah, the effects are wonky, sure. They changed the game, definitely. But it's not that bad. Get out of town, dude. It's not the worst damn film ever made. Like if you consider that movie or Paranormal Activity the worst movie ever made, you need to broaden your horizons, because even if these were considered bad, it's nowhere near as bad as some of these other films I've seen. I can go on a huge list naming a bunch of films that are bad, that these films don't even scratch the surface coming close to. Like, they would have to be god awful for me to label them as bad. And I don't believe a single Paranormal Activity film is bad by any stretch of the way. Some of them are better than others, sure, but I don't believe a single film in this series is considered bad. And I don't believe the Silent Hill. I'm gonna review that once I finish watching it, but I don't believe a single one of the Silent Hill films are terrible. I believe there's, like, again, I believe there's ones that are better than the others. Like, I personally like Annihilation, but I do believe that the 2006 film was significantly better than Annihilation. It was a really good game adaptation. I thought it was a really good film. And Return to Silent Hill has moments where I was like, holy hell, that's literally pulled from the game. And I was impressed with that, because it's not easy to recreate these games. I know a lot of people think, like, it's so easy. You got the formula right there. The games are right there. All you got to do is just draw from that. And yeah, I've done that myself sometimes where I'm like, how's it that hard? But it is, because you got to construct those sets and you got to build everything perfectly, or people will bitch about everything. And if you keep the story 100% the same, people will bitch that the story is too similar. And then it's like, why are you doing this film then if you're just going to copy the games? Then if you change a detail from the games, people are like, why are you changing the games? You should have kept it exactly like you can't satisfy everybody. So whether this, like, going back to Paranormal Activity, this was all just kind of to wrap around to this, whether Paranormal Activity would have been 100% perfect or it would have had its flaws or whatever, people would have found a reason to complain about it. People would have found a reason to hate it, because people do that. People just love to hate things. So whether the thing's perfect or not, Spielberg could have directed this and people would have found a problem with it. And apparently Spielberg, I don't know how true this claim is, but apparently Spielberg watched this film and said it was one of the scariest things, and to the point where when he watched it, he threw it in a trash bag because he believed it was cursed. And he didn't leave his room for a while or something like that. Something to that effect. I'm not 100% sure how that is, but it wouldn't surprise me necessarily, because I've never took Spielberg as this big tough guy. So I could definitely see him getting so traumatized by a film like this that he was pretty terrified. I mean, he's never really made anything scary. I mean, I guess the closest would be Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but that's not really scary. But anyways, my review on Paranormal Activity, I'm finally putting it out. Go to hell. Slushy from, what, 3 years ago? Or 4 years ago? I can't remember when it was. But yeah, I'll see you guys. I have so many videos on this old computer. Like, this is the Chromebook I used to film off of before I got, like, a proper recording setup. So I used to film all webcam videos off of this old Chromebook. And I have so many reviews on here that I still needed to delete, which I'm not going to release them. Why would I release them? Because I look nothing like that guy. It's going to look so weird. I had a faux hawk at that time, and it was colored. I believe most of those videos I had blue hair. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't have blue hair, and I don't have a faux hawk anymore. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, if you did, check out the Paranormal Activity movies. Give them a chance. Even if you hate it, man, at least you can say that you tried, man. Give it a shot, man. Open up your horizons. Even if you hate found footage. Unless you're one of those people who hate shaky cam stuff. I can understand people not liking found footage because of that. And if that's the case, probably don't touch the Paranormal Activity films, because there's going to be some moments that do involve a camera moving quite frequently. So, like, a good portion of it's just a stationary cam moving side to side, but there are times when the camera moves pretty wild. So if you're someone like that who gets nauseous from watching camera shaking, probably don't watch it. That's just a general rule for found footage. And again, that's a valid criticism, so I can understand that. So maybe don't watch it. But if you're looking for a good paranormal film and you don't mind camera shaking a little bit, you're going to love Paranormal Activity. I don't see how you can't. It's just a very simple possession movie. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit like if you did. See you guys next one. Bye-bye.